Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the 2021 Auto Trail Imala 730. So walking around the driver's side of the vehicle first, the main point you get to is your mains connectivity point. So you lift the flap up, lift the lever and slide on there. Always hook the vehicle up, then your sight, and obviously do it in reverse when unhooking, as we wouldn't want you walking around with a live lead in the wet, or should the lead become faulty in the future. And below, so you've got a waste holding tank. So this is any waste water that's gone down any plug hole. So you just turn the lever and drain that out. It's very important in the winter months especially that you drain this out and no water freezes in the tanks, because it can cause the pipes and the tanks to split. So normally on the way out of a site, what you do is you go to the motorhome service bay and you would drain off any water you've put down the plug hole. So this is kitchen, shower and hand basin in there. You've got your two fridge vent covers. So that's for the fridge vent. And then here you've got your fresh water intake. So you put a hose pipe in there until it was to overflow, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board. So you go and get yourself a hose pipe. It's just a brass tap on most sites, so you will need the hose connection ends. And you put the hose pipe in the groove and wait until it overflows, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board. Down here you've got your fresh water, so you fill there, you empty here. So should you've taken on contaminated water, or you're draining down for the winter season, you just open and this will allow fresh water out of the vehicle. This is just your vent for your Truma heating system, so make sure that's never blocked. And then on the back, so with the keys, you've got a round-headed key here which does all the locks. So always make sure the little notch is pointing to the bottom for it to close. Push it in and do a quarter of a turn. And then to open, obviously quarter of a turn, full turn on the lock head. And that will open the back up. In the back corner, so your boiler's behind here. It holds 10 litres of water at any one time. Just under here you'll see a little yellow tap. So in the winter it's very important that you drain all water out of the motorhome. So you've opened the fresh, you've opened the waste outside, you then come to open the boiler, so you would put no power on at all, and you just lift this up and it'll drain directly out underneath the chassis. Leave that stood up during the time that it's in storage or not being used, so no water freezes, because no warranty will cover frost damage. And if you do leave water in and it was to freeze, it will break the boiler and it's very expensive to repair. And all your tanks and pipes on a motorhome are plastic, just to give you a better payload. And obviously plastic doesn't do well with freezing, because it'll split and it'll flood the vehicle. So to drain off, you'd lift this tap up, stand it on end. When it's like this, it's holding water, as in the boiler holds 10 litres of water at any one time. In the back you've got your carpets, and then this is just an electric unit for your back lights, which you don't need to do anything with. Here you've got your LPG, so again opens with the main key. So once you've used the little key to open it, push in, and you've got your gas locker, so holds two 6-kilogram propane bottles. Once they're in, if you tie them in like so, and then loop it back in, just so the bottle is secure when you're driving. And then to get the pigtail onto the bottle, it's a left-hand thread, so opposite threads with it being gas, you'd use an adjustable spanner or a gas spanner, and you tighten it up, nip it up, then you turn on and off at the top of the bottle. And then there's a crash valve in here, so what you've got to do is you've got to press the black button, press and hold, and it allows the gas into the vehicle. And then ensure that this yellow toggle on the regulator is pushed in, and again that's a crash valve sensor, so it allows that into the vehicle. So once you've pressed that, make sure that's in once you've turned the bottle on, and that should get gas into the vehicle. And again, you can get a spare in there should you require. You've got your external gas point, so there's a cable tie on there with the gas spigot. Cut that off, that clips into there. You'll need some gas rubber hose, which is orange, and you'll need a Jubilee clip to connect it to your Kadak or your external barbecue or awning heater, and then you turn it on at the gas tap, and that will run off the main bottle on board, so you're not carrying a spare. And then your cassette loo, so ensure the blade, which is the grey lever on the bottom bowl of the toilet, is closed. You'll be able to lift and slide this out. You've got a handle so you can drag it to your disposal site, which is normally behind or beside the toilet block. Take the cover off, press the button at the back, tip out. This is just water we've tested the cassette with. Tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, there's normally a tap. You put some water in via the spout at the top, give it a final shake and tip out again. Just helps clean it out. And then if you're using the liquid form of chemical, the blue or the green, a cap full of chemical into here, it's good to go back into the vehicle. If you're using the new form, which is the tablets, you put a pint of water in and then drop a sachet of either the blue or the green tablets into here. That'll break down into the liquid, and then you just push it back in and it'll clip back in, and it's good to be used. Come to the front of the vehicle, you've got your diesel filler, which opens with the main ignition key, and then below, because it's a new diesel engine, it's got the AdBlue solution to make it clean. So it's a 19 litre tank. You can fill it up on the pumps, or you can buy it in the barrels to fill with AdBlue, and you'd simply, when the light comes on between the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge, it looks like an exhaust light. It means that the AdBlue is needed. Fill it up as soon as possible, because if you don't, the vehicle can go into limp mode or will fail to start if it's completely dry of AdBlue. So just do keep an eye, top up as soon as the light comes on. Inside you've got your tyre pressures, so 5.5 bar all round, which is 79.5 psi. Your engine batteries underneath the floor, and the bonnet releases on the side of the dashboard. So underneath the bonnet, you've got your screen wash. This cover lifts off and gives you power steering and radiator coolant. You've got your brake fluid, and then you've got your engine oil fluid top up, and your dipstick for checking the levels. Paint code. Then should you be given or receiving a jump start, you'd earth off here and then put your positive on there, and then you do have your weight plates. So it's 3650 gross vehicle weight. If you were to put a tow bar on, the train weight of the vehicle can't exceed 4.9 tonne. So to operate the control panel, what you need to do is, you've got a master switch at the top, so you can turn this on. Obviously if you're hooked up, you'll get 240 volts. If you're not hooked up, you'll just get 12 volt off the main leisure battery. Below, you've got your master switch for your lights, which are all then individually switched around the vehicle. And then below the lights, you've got the pump. So should you want to use the taps, toilet or shower, you must turn the pump on, which pressurizes the water, otherwise you won't get any water through the taps. And then on the other side, at the top, you've got the awning light, which is the light outside, and then you can flick through here. So if you start off from the main menu, so Sergeant EC 363 12 volt control panel, click again, it will tell you that your leisure battery is 13.5 volts and it's charging, so that gives you a clue that you're hooked up. Taking the hook up out will give you a true reading on your leisure battery. Press again, it'll tell you your vehicle battery is 13.9 volts and charging. Again, taking that out will give a true reading of the battery. Your water tank levels is fresh 75%, zero waste. And then your select battery, you want always to be the leisure. Never run the motorhome off the vehicle battery, as there is a chance you can flatten it. So always make sure it's on the leisure. So it says battery equals leisure. And then you've got the internal temperature and humidity, and then you can adjust the time displayed on the main control panel. So just going through the front controls again, you've got your master switch on and off, you've got your master switch for your lights, you've got your pump, so you must have that on to use any water. You've got your awning light, which is your exterior light, and then that scrolls through the little screen there and tells you your water levels, your battery levels, and so on. So to operate your digital Truma control panel, so to turn on, little black wheel here, so the dial you press and hold, you'll get to the standby screen. If you just press again, you'll enter. So what you've got to do is, you've got the motorhome in the top left hand corner with the thermometer in. This is how hot you want your vehicle. So you can have it off if you don't want the heating on in the summer, or you can have it all the way to 30 degrees. And then what you do is you just press enter, and that's preset that heating there to 26 degrees. And then next to it you've got the water, so the water with the thermometer in. So if there's no water in the boiler, don't have the water on, because it's exactly like boiling a kettle without any water in. You'll fry the element. So you can have it on eco, which is heating the water at 40 degrees. You can have it on hot, which is heating the water at 60 degrees. Or you can have it on boost, which will turn off the heating and prioritise the water first. So for this we'll just say hot, so this is heating the water at 60 degrees, and again you just press the wheel and that's preset that to hot. And then moving further along, you've got what source you're off. So there's a gas bottle and electricity signs, so this is the source. So you can have gas on its own, which is obviously if you're wild camping and you have no electric hookup, you'd have no choice but to heat the water or the vehicle off gas. You've got a mix 1, which is 1 kilowatt of electric and gas. You've got mix 2, which is 2 kilowatts of electric and gas. So this is doubling the source, so this is both sources together, which should rapidly reduce the time it takes to heat the vehicle or the water, which you'd normally use in the winter. And then you've got electric on 1 kilowatt, so just depending on what amperage you get through your cooker bleed, you can have 1 kilowatt or you can have 2, so it depends on what the site gives you. Normally in the UK you can use electric on 2 or more sites, but you may have to use on the smaller sales sites in this country and abroad electric on 1 kilowatt. So for this we'll just say electric on 2 kilowatts. And then moving on, in the top right hand corner you've got the fan, so you can have it on eco, which saves a bit of the 12 volt assisted fan, or you can have it on high, which you'll hear the fan a bit louder. So on an evening, what I'd recommend is you have it on eco, it's just not as loud, and then during the day you can have it on high should you need to blow the heat around the vehicle more in the winter months. Down in the bottom left you've got a timer, so you can time the heating to come on and off once. And then you've got the time displayed on the main control panel. And in the bottom corner you've got the settings, so should you get a warning triangle in the middle there, which means something's failed, you can go down to reset. You can press reset, it'll come up preset, and you press again and it will factory reset the control panel, and you'll have to go in and set the heating, the temperature, what energy source, and the fan speed again. So to lock the door on an auto trail, most models are fitted with central locking, but if they're not, all you need to do, or if you want to individually lock one door, you would just push the chrome catch back. Then as soon as you pull it forward, it will open the door. To operate your Dometic fridge, so you've got 3 ways. So you turn on here, and then you'll see you've got 3. So you've got first one, which is electric hookup, so you've got to be on the mains connected to electric hookup for this to work. So you'll use this on a site, or if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, if you pre-chill in the fridge before your trip away, you'd have it on electric hookup. And then if you're wild camping, you wouldn't have electric hookup, but you'd have gas, so you just press on the gas flame there and you'll hear it ticking away in the background until it self ignites. So you'd use the gas. And then if you were traveling and you've pre-chilled it, so you're traveling from site to site, or you've pre-chilled it at home on gas or electric, put your shopping in, it's lovely and cool. It turns it into a big cool box. So what you do is you put on the battery, it'll feel here now because the engine's not running at the present, but that's just a feed from the engine alternator, so it's not off the leisure battery. Your leisure battery could never power a fridge. It's a 12 volt feed off the engine, which is just designed to keep the temperature of the fridge the same when traveling. You've got your temperature here, so when pre-chilling you'll probably want it on 5, but then once you get shopping in on board you'll probably want to turn it down to 3 or 4 to stop the shopping from freezing. Then one thing you want to do is when you're putting the van to bed or you're not using it, you're winterizing, take everything out of it, give it a wipe down with some anti-bac wipes and sprays, and then the last thing you want to do is close the door, as it's got a rubber seal on there and it will trap the air in. So on the light there's a little toggle, pull these two forward, and then as you can see you can get your hands down, which allows air circulation in and out of the fridge and freezer box. So now in the kitchen area, so above you've got storage for your cups, bowls and plates, and then your microwave on this one is an 800 watt household microwave, so it only works on electric hookup, but should you need to replace it in the future or isolate it, you can just unplug it here. Below, as long as your pump's on, your water will get a pressurise. Got hot water there, so the water's getting lovely and warm. There. You've got your pop-up plugs, so push the red button in at the bottom, turn it off, you'll be able to slide it down. And then if you just lift the catch, lift the chrome handle, you'll be able to pull it up and turn the socket on, and there you've got 3 plugs. Got your cutlery tray, got storage drawer, and then you've got 2 cabinets, so if you just push the catches in it'll open the doors. And here you've got your Fetford oven, so 3 gas rings, 1 electric hot plate, which is this one here, which is the back one, which only works when you're hooked up on a site. You've got your oven light, so there's your oven away, and then above you've got your grill. So your grill's lit there. You may want to take your grill pan out when travelling, as it can rattle about. And then once you've had the hob on, always allow it to cool down before you put the cooker hood down, otherwise there is a chance you can smash the glass. So make sure it's cool. Underneath you've got the plug for your electric hot plate, which is just in the corner here, so should you need to isolate that you can do. And then on this side you've got gas taps, so should you have any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. The gas taps are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced annually, to make sure the gas is working to the standard set. Across from the kitchen you've got your washroom, so you've got your toilet, your sink and your large shower cubicle. You've got a hanging rail here for wet towels, coats if you've been caught in the rain, but if you're going on a bigger trip this also doubles up as extra wardrobe space. You've got a turnbuckle here for your shower screens, so when you're travelling make sure they're tied back, otherwise they will be bouncing around when you're on the road. And then when you do winterise the vehicle, so when you put it away for the winter, remove your shower head from the hose, allow the hose, as you can see it's got quite a loop in there, lie that down into the shower tray and leave all the mixer taps open just to eliminate any water in the lines and pipe work of the vehicle, and any water will just drain directly out the plug hole and directly out the waste, because that would be open from outside. But to operate the toilet, so make sure the pump's on again for the water flow, press the button here, the back, you'll get water. So it's an electric freshwater flush, as you can see there. And then what you want to do is lubricate the blade first by flushing. Then open the blade. Use the toilet with the blade open to ensure everything goes into the cassette. Flush after use and then slide to the left, which will allow you to get the cassette out should it need to be changed. And there's a little diagram of the cassette here. When you get a light on there, it means that it's full and it needs to be changed. So it needs to be taken out, emptied and topped back up with chemical. Above you've got a toiletries cabinet and your light, a small sample of blue chemical, and then your skylight you just push in, slide along or slide into the groove should you want a bit of ventilation in the nicer weather months, summer. And then you've got a blackout blind for on an evening and a fly screen for when the skylight is open. In the back wardrobe on the right hand side is where you'll find your TV booster. So the aerial on this one is a fixed aerial, but you've got a dial here so you can min and max the amplifier should you be struggling to get a TV signal, or should the signal be too strong you can turn it up and down till you get the best picture. So on the Imala 730, the layout at the back is a back island bed. This is in day position so you can get round the bed far easier. And then to put it into a flat position for sleeping, you just slide it out like so, and that's it flat. But this customer has added as a feature to lock the bed in place some coach bolts. So what you need to do is, this is locked in place so you'll not be able to slide the bed anymore. So what you need to do is slide it out, pull it out and twist. There's a little notch there that keeps the spring back, which stops the bolt from going through the bed frame. But then when you do want it in position and not to move, you just slide it out and put the bolt through, which goes into the bed frame here and stops this from sliding up and down. And there's one on this side and one on the other side, but these aren't a factory fitted item. Your little reading lights in the bedroom are individually switched, so ensure you've got the main master switch on for the lights on the control panel, and then you can have whichever light bezel you want on either side of the bed. And you've got your switches there, so you've got your over cabinet lights and your under the cabinet light as well. You'll also notice here you've got two USBs on the right hand side next to the wardrobe, and storage underneath the bed. So at the front in your lounge, underneath this seat here, which lifts up, is where your leisure battery location is. So you've got a 20 amp main battery fuse, and then underneath, if you lift it, you've got a banger battery which is 100 amp hours in there, and then the cover just clips on. So just check that your main battery fuse hasn't blown should you be getting any problems with your 12 volt. And you've got storage above. When you do slide this out to make the bed, you'll notice there's a drop down leg here just for support. So when you slide it out, slide the leg out, but I'll show you how to make the front bed up. So it consists of the table dropping down to the next bar and then pushing this leg in and folding it in half. So I'll show you how to do it, and I'll put the infill cushions which I found in the back wardrobe in to make the bed. So this is just shown with the cushions in place with the bed made. So you've got your two infill cushions which fold in half, so they both go there. Then the backrest from here goes on there. I would advise turning this one upside down as well so you get a flatter surface to sleep on. But then if we lift them off, you'll see that this slides out, and like I've said, drop your leg down so your leg just folds away. Your table makes the bed base, so with the table all you need to do is lift it 90 degrees. So lift it 90 degrees, it will slide off the bar at the back. There's two little clips on there, so they just clip onto each bar, and then pushing the button in it'll fold the leg up or extend the leg, and then now it's back in position for travel. You've got a little bolt head here which you can turn around, and the table will extend so you get more worktop space for the 2 seats travelling in the cab, turned round so you can all eat and dine off one table. Above your dining table at the front in your half dinette is where you'll find your EC176 power supply unit. So you've got a button at the top which is a system shutdown button, so it's stops any power drain, but it will turn the head unit off. So you might press this in the winter to stop any battery drain off your leisure battery, but it will stop the head unit and reverse camera working. So do make sure that you put that back on if you are going to take the vehicle out for a drive and you want the head unit and reverse camera to work. You've got all your 12-volt fuses here, so it would be a good idea to carry some spares, which are all listed on there what is what. Then on this side you've got your RCDs and your MCBs on mains power. So if you trip the vehicle out, try here before you try your main site. And then located in the top is your regulator for your solar panel, which is charging your leisure battery. So you can choose which battery you want to charge. So it's, at the bottom it's leisure battery, and then it's off at the middle, so down for leisure battery. And then you've got an individual build number, so if you need any parts, quote your number and we'll be able to get the right parts from Motor Trail for your vehicle. To operate your windows, if you release the 3 levers and then turn the black dials to keep the window out, just keeps the stay in position. Loosen it off to bring it in. Always make sure your skylights and windows are shut securely before travelling, and you've got a blackout blind and a fly screen on each skylight and window. So fitted as part of the media pack is a Avtex TV. So if you just turn the bolt there, and then at the back of the telly there's a little black lever, just takes the tension and it drops the telly down. Then if you press the button, it'll turn the telly on.
European Championships really hasn't helped them because it's dissipated somewhat.
And then if you press source, it's free view only, but if you ever fit a satellite to the vehicle, this telly has got a built-in satellite receiver, so you'll just need to plug the satellite in and it'll work fine. But to retune on digital telly, so from every location you move to, from site to site, from home to wherever you're going, you need to press AQT, which is this big orange button. So if you press and hold, it'll start and do a automatic channel search, and it'll find as many channels as it can where you're located. To turn your seats on your cab, you've got 2 levers on either seat in the middle, so if you just pull it out, slide around. If you were to get stuck on the door, all you need to do is adjust your driving position by pulling the seat forward, and then you'll be able to turn round into the back of the vehicle and sit around the lounge in the back, and that's the same for the driver's seat as well. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver is your handbrake, and then to black the side windows of the cab out, you've got Remus cab blinds, so you'd pinch and slide these out, so that'll do the driver and the passenger. And then on the passenger door itself, you've got your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments. So you choose your mirror, so you've got 2 mirrors on each side, which is the top and the blind spot, so you can adjust them electronically. And then on here you've got your headlight adjustment and your rear fog lights. You've got exactly the same Remus car blinds on the windscreen, so you'd pinch, slide these out and do exactly the same on the other. Meet in the middle, they are just magnetic, like so. And then they just store away. And then here you've got your trip computer on the end of your wiper stalk, which will tell you your range, your average consumption, your instant consumption, your travelling times, your distance travelled, and so on. You've got your hands-free. This will scroll through your radio tracks, your media, and your contacts, your volume and mute. Lights and indicators. Cruise control speed limiter, so it's off in the middle. Up for cruise control, get your desired speed and push it up. To accelerate, push and hold, and to decelerate, push down. Should you need to cancel, you can cancel it with a foot brake or on the wiper stalk, or on the end of the stalk, sorry. And then if you want to resume it, so to the last speed set before the engine's turned off, you would just press resume. Should you want the speed limiter, scroll to the bottom on here, and then if you push up slowly it goes up in 1s, if you push and hold it goes up in 5s, and then you do have the kick down function, so if you put the accelerator at the floor it'll override the speed limiter, as this is a safety feature. Six-speed manual gearbox with lift into reverse, so you lift and it brings in the reverse camera on the head unit. And then below you've got ASR off, which is anti-slip relief, so it's another word for basically turning your traction control off should you be slipping and you want to stop the ASP overriding. Hazards, locks the door, and it does lock the habitation door on this model because it is fitted with central locking. You've got your heated mirrors, and then you've got USB for charging and 12 volt for charging. The USB up here, you've got two for the head unit, so that's to connect to the head unit, and then you've got a glove box, and then below you've got your temperature on the outside ring. Fan speed must be on at least 1 or more, so you've got 1 to 4 for the aircon to work. Then it's where you want the air to go to, face, feet or screen, and whether you're recirculating air within the motorhome or bringing fresh air in. This box here is cooled and heated by the air conditioning as well, so should you have any suites for when you're driving, if you've got the air conditioning on, they'll stay nice and cool, and you can have them in there instead of getting up and down to the fridge when driving. So to operate your Accent head unit, which this model is an XF270 model, you've got a GPS card in the top here which works the navigation. So what you do is you click for navigation, click in the bottom left hand corner, you see where you are on the map, go to new route, go to address, and then in the middle you've got a choice of the country, you've got a choice of the town and postcode, so that's where you'd likely put your town and postcode in there, and then you can put your street name in there, and then you go to town, it'll show you a preview of where you're going, and then you just press set as destination. On this will turn to green and you'd click there, and that'd be you sorted for putting your address in. On this side it'll tell you your time of arrival, time left, your distance and your miles per hour, your arrival, your distance and your time left, so it'll tell you all that. Radio is FM AM, and you can press preset, so you can save 6 radio channels, or you can go back to home and it's is DAB, so you can go to list, you've got your national, your regional channels and your BBC channels, and again once you're happy with finding your favourite stations you can go to preset and save 6. Scroll along, you've got Bluetooth, so you press Bluetooth, you'd search for Accent on your phone. At the same time as searching, this is searching, and it'll come up with your phone model or name, and you just press pair. Then it'll come up on your phone whether you want to allow your contacts to be downloaded, press allow, and it'll download your contacts into the head unit. And then this is where, if you were using your phone to stream off Bluetooth audio, you'll get the little music icon here, and you'll be able to stream your music Bluetooth off your phone. Scrolling further along, you've got USB, iPod, which all works through the USBs. You've got camera, so you can have the camera on when going forward, but that'll only work when the engine's on. So at the minute the ignition's on, so as soon as you put the engine on, you'll be able to have the camera on permanently, but then you'll be able to come out of it to go onto the various other settings. And then you do have your settings at the end. So if you go to other, you can view the software that it's running. So it's running V2.4, which is the latest software. Should the head unit get slow or glitchy, it might mean that it needs an update. So if you just go on the Xsense website, updates, F270 is the model, download it on it with USB stick, pop it in the USB, and then you'll want to press install software, start update, and then when the USB is in, this tick will illuminate and you'll be able to tick the screen, and that'll download your latest softwares. At the bottom you've got shortcuts, so you've got home, nav, camera, DAB, alternative and Bluetooth. So you can go in shortcuts which are designed for when you're driving, so you can go in and out without taking your eyes off the road.